Everybody. I didn't hear that. Jai Hind. Thank you very much. You know, it's usually what happens is when the last of the speaker comes, everybody is completely low. I think you heard enough from a lot many people, so I don't blame you in the place that you are in. But I need to actually share something with you, the reason that I'm over here. And I think the reason that you all are over here, there is a purpose that we all are meeting today. The idea was a very simple thought process, I think, which, with a lot of respect, I call him NC Garu, as you've been hearing his name now, and Charlie. Everybody has a thought, and a thought to be brought into an action, I think, is the biggest format of what one can achieve. I think your parents must have done it somewhere, you are doing it today over here. It's always about a thought, an intention, which actually creates an outcome for what we are looking forward to. Yes, I think you saw quite a few of these videos and the reflective understanding of what everybody has shared with you. But I think the most important aspect, if you frankly ask me, is, are we ready to take on the responsibility? The changes are bound to happen. I think we had a 1835, we had a 1900, we have a 2000, we are going to have a 2020 and we are going to have a 2050 also. The idea is that our part of the responsibility, the people who are there, the circumstances which were there, I think a lot many decisions took place in those restraints and in those availabilities that could be done. Today, let's come to today. I don't think I want to go back and talk about what actually has happened. You all have learned the history, you all have seen it, you all have read it, you read more than even I could have maybe. But one thing I would like to say is, let's come down to the present scenario. Today, I think after all these years of whatever India has gone through, whatever we have all gone through, you people are going to be making what India is in time to come. And very soon, I think in a matter of another 20, 30 years, somewhere you all will be standing and giving the same perspective to the people who are going to continue this baton onwards as far as the country is concerned. What is the need of the hour? The need of the hour, actually what got identified was that the imbalances in life that are happening, they are happening with us, they are happening in your homes, they are happening with us in our basic daily life also. Mahan Bharath Abhiyan, as it was created under the thought process of NC Garu, was actually to bring together the like-mindedness of people who actually believed in the idea of Bharat. Bharat is what we all relate to. This is our country. How do we contribute to that? Do we contribute individually, selflessly to our own individual self? Or are we actually wanting to share that with the people, with the families who live in this country and actually make it a wholesome? Giving an example, I think when we go back, I think Karam had very truly mentioned there was this experience the Englishmen had in this country. Can you figure out why it was like that? Because it was our culture. So why it was like that? It was like that because of a very, very simple reason, I believe, that the effectivity and the functioning and the relationship of a family was how it was taken as a running of a governance of the city and the country. You look after everybody in a family, don't you? If you don't look after your family, the family is bound to break away. The differences are always there. If you have 6 people in a family, all the 6 are going to think differently. If they all try to think the same manner, you will not have progress. You have to have criticalness to whatever you're doing. Criticism is part of our lives. You have to criticize. But what is the positive criticism is what we are talking about over here. So, is it that we want to actually only make our point, I don't want to listen to you, you do what you want, this is what I believe. Nothing runs like that. You are dealing it in your own life on a daily basis in this university, with your own friends. Can you live like that? You can't live like that. We can't live like that. And I think that's where the call of the entire thought process was, that do we have that sense and availability that we can actually bring the perspective of each other together. We are very few left. As I landed over here at the airport, I did come to know there was some band which was called, and we don't have lot many friends sitting with us over here. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. It's always the one which makes the difference. You read many history books. It's always the one which makes a difference. Who is going to be the one out of here? I don't know. It is your own choice. But the idea is, collectively, if we have the same thought process, yes, we can actually bring in some aspect of change that we are wanting to. Gramodaya mission actually is a thought process of how the imbalance can be brought back to a balance. I think that is what we are looking at. That is the involvement that we are looking at from you also. That we need that collectiveness, that thought process. We're going to finish this program. You all are going to go to your classes, to your homes. You're going to be back into your life. The idea is, it's perfectly fine. The only sharing that we have with you is, when you do go back, do keep it in your mind, have it in your awareness. Create that intention somewhere, that if it is your college, if it is your friends, if it is your family, it is your nation, there is something as a basic contribution that you would like to do. We need that sharing. And that sharing was something that I was discussing with NC Garu, and I have to thank the SU University to actually give that podium availability for us to come forth and bring you all onto the exchange that we are wanting to create over here. There is a certain plan of action that we have. We cannot reach out everywhere. It is impractical to say that yes, we can be everywhere. Slowly and steadily we have put one thread to another together. We are making that rope, we are making that chain, we are making that web, where actually a thought process of people do come together. So I have this particular exchange that we had in between, and we said, why don't we create a program which needs to be done? Every single organization, every single person in the world does it. Some does it for a purpose of certification, some do it for a purpose of wanting to do it as a social contribution. I'm talking about the community outreach program. So when we say the socio-economic measures, the socio-economic measures of rural development, as you must have seen one or two models that actually can bring in this change. The change actually is brought in by you when you reach out to the community that you live in. That community is what is important, and I think that's what we are looking at. So there is this internship that we are looking at as a volunteer that you people can bring to Gramodaya is actually the exchange. As we actually bring that aspect of what Gramodaya we are trying to do, the change that we are trying to bring in, it is actually only trying to balance what has got imbalanced. And that is by your presence that can happen. That balance can happen because you in your own space, village, houses, cities actually are the ones who can make that connectivity happen. We are looking at how a contribution, a certain presence of yours, and a certain engagement with the people that you relate to under a program of what we were actually talking about in bridging the gaps of either it is the way of living or if it is the way of governance or if it is the way of being, is how we can actually bring that change together. So I leave it to you. There is a certain format that we were thinking about. We want to create it into a certain certification that when the internship completes, you have a certain certificate also of having completed social service work during the tenure of your university. And that is something we have proposed. We would like to initiate that and have you enrolled in our program. So whenever you go back, wherever you go back, there is a certain thought process that you are taking back over there. I go back to one thing that just came to my mind. I think I would like to relate that. I don't know, you people all must have read it somewhere or the other. Gandhiji used to say something which was a very known aspect of life. The world over people say it today. Only in India it's not there, but the world says it more. He used to say, be the change that you want to see in the world. How do you see that change? You got to be the change. And that is, I think, exactly what we are talking about here. Are we ready to be the change? He always used to also define it in a different manner. It's a very simple thing if you can relate to it. That whenever you start something, people tend to ignore you. We've had our part of the ignorance also. When Gramodaya actually started, some people said, what are you talking about? This is a governance job. This has to be done by the government. What are you, NGO, trying to come in and trying to make that change? Do you even have the resources? Do you even have the capability to do it? And I think that was one of the aspects as a challenge that actually we all were feeling, and I think hats off to NC Garu to actually have survived that onslaught that he did and has created this scenario for us to actually participate. And they did ignore us. And there were a lot which actually went ahead and laughed at it also. They said, this is not happening because this is too big, this is too far a thought, and I don't think you can bring it on the ground for to make it happen. And I think that's the process that I relate to when I say, the first they ignore you, then they laugh at you. After that they start to fight with you because you are bringing in a change. So they want to fight with you. But if you can handle that part of life is actually when you win. And I think that's the process, that's the challenge that we all are also going through. It is a slow process, no doubt about it. Change is never a fast process. Change happens with its own time and period. I think from the time, as I say change, I just got reminded, I was 2 years old when the first time I came to Tirupathi. I don't remember too much of Tirupati. My first Mundan got done over here. After all these years, at this age of 56, I stand over here when I entered Tirupati. I was thinking, I said that time and change in every aspect of my own self has happened. Today I have come as somebody else entering this city. I'm here talking to you about something which I was not even having a dream of. But yes, the change happened. The change happened within me for that I could come and stand and share with you something that we all are wanting to do. Now, the criteria, the idea, the thought process lies upon you, your friends, and the people that you relate to, that you can spread this voice across. That as far as this program is concerned, it is already on. It is rolling. It is happening. When you see the brightness of the day, how the brightness of the day, I think we will, as we go ahead, we will all experience it. But I leave a thought with you that whenever we are, wherever we are, as a Gramodaya mission thought process, as a Mahan Bharath mission that we have all created, the Abhiyan that we have all created, the family that is coming together from all aspects and places of this country, there is obviously one single thought process that we can be the change, be